Okay, we are live, and this is People of the State of Michigan versus Tyrese Bell, docket number 18-902FH. And Mr. Bell, you are here today because a warrant was issued. It was issued based on an allegation that you were in violation of probation. It's alleged here that after I ordered you at a probation hearing on April 6th, to complete the House of Commons for substance abuse treatment, you were terminated from that program for behavioral issues on April 27th. And you had not contacted your agent, which was why a warrant was issued. Do you understand the allegations against you?
Yes, ma'am.
If they're proven true, it could subject you to a maximum penalty of up to 2 years in prison based on your original conviction. You have the right to be represented by an attorney. If you cannot afford one, one will be appointed for you at public expense. You also have the right to have a contested hearing on this, like a trial, where you could appear by yourself or through an attorney. You could hear the evidence presented against you, you could cross-examine witnesses, and you could present your own evidence. I do have an attorney on standby. Do you want me to appoint an attorney to represent you?
No, I'm guilty, Your Honor.
Okay, you do not want an attorney then, and you said you're guilty, so that means you want to plead guilty?
Yes, ma'am.
Would you raise your right hand, please? Do you solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give in this matter will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes, ma'am. Yes.
Thank you. And Mr. Bell, you can put your hand down. As I said, you have the right to a contested hearing. If you plead guilty, you will not have a contested hearing, and you'll give up the rights that go along with it. That includes the right to be represented by an attorney, the right to have the allegation proven, the right to have the witnesses against you appear at the hearing and to be able to cross-examine them, the right to have this court order any witnesses that you might have to appear at the hearing, and also the right to testify yourself at the hearing if you wanted to. Do you understand those rights?
Yes, Ms. Draganchuk.
Has anyone made any promises to get you to plead guilty?
No.
Can you speak up a little bit louder?
Oh, I'm sorry. No. I'm sorry.
Okay. And sure. Anyone used any threats or other kinds of pressure on you?
No, Your Honor.
Are you pleading guilty because you believe you did violate probation?
Yes, Your Honor.
So how did you violate probation?
I left CMH when I got discharged, when I was supposed to wait for them, but I didn't wait, and I took off, and I take full responsibility for what I did, Your Honor. I'm sorry.
So then you
But
were
I
terminated
came back.
then from House of... You came back?
Yeah, I had came back, and then, I got locked right back up because they said you wasn't supposed to leave at all.
Okay. So you were terminated from House of Commons,
Yes.
correct?
Yes. Yes, ma'am.
The court finds the plea is understandingly, voluntarily, and knowingly made. It is supported by the testimony. The plea of guilty is accepted. Mr. Bell is found guilty of probation violation. And Agent Myers, is there a recommendation?
Yes, Your Honor. I was able to speak with Mr. Bell earlier today by Polycom. We really, we discussed how we can move forward productively. He unfortunately has had some occurrences where it's a little bit of a behavioral issue, a little bit of manipulation of what's going on. And I told him, the best way we can help you is, you got to be truthful. You need to stick with the plans that we come up with together. And he's very agreeable to all this. He seems to understand. My hope is that we're able to do something at this point, though, that really helps him to make the changes that he needs to make, because we've kind of gone through this cycle of talking about what he might need. He's agreeable, but then he's just really had a hard time conducting himself in a way that doesn't really jeopardize his opportunities, which is what happened here at House of Commons, where there was a lot of commotion going on, and then the situation where he went to crisis services, and then he told crisis services a different story from what he told House of Commons. So then crisis services said, well, we don't really need to do anything with you, and you can go back. And then he left when he knew House of Commons was coming back to get him. That's kind of why we're here today. So he is still agreeable. He sees his need for treatment, but he also understands that his behavior is one that's just not acceptable, because it's really taken up a lot of people's time in trying to help him. So we discussed the idea of a 45-day jail sentence. He has credit for 7 days today. And however, we would attempt to get him into KPEP. I do not believe House of Commons will end up agreeing to take him back. That's from my experience with other participants. When it becomes a behavioral thing, they pretty much just like, no, we don't want that person back. And they'll say, staff could be in jeopardy on weekends and things like that. So Mr. Bell seemed to agree to me that maybe a new place would be best right now anyway. Just take another attempt at it. We talked about going to KPEP. So my recommendation is 45 days in jail, credit for 7 days served. We will release him on or about May 27th based on KPEP being able to take him at that time. That'll give us time to get that coordinated. And we still will have him screened for mental health court. We haven't gotten to that yet because we anticipated he was going to be at House of Commons for a while. And there were some other candidates they were looking at and hadn't gotten to him yet. So we'll still try to do that assessment. And then if he qualifies, we'll bring him into the mental health court.
All right, thank you. And Mr. Bell, anything you wanted to say?
No, Your Honor. No, Your Honor. I'm sorry.
Okay. Well, how can we get this going where you're not always back here on violations? What do you think you need to do?
I think Boyd is right. This program right here will be helpful for me, Your Honor. I'm sorry, and like I said, I do take full responsibility of what I did. I'm sorry that I did it, but I tried to come back, but I knew that it was too late. I knew what I was doing, and I just feel like this. I feel like this KPEP program is really going to help me this time, Your Honor. I promise you, I will make a way better outcome and better understanding this time, Your Honor. I'm just very, very sorry for that. I am not here to play around with you, Your Honor. I just really need help. I really do.
And I want you to get it. It just seems like you're your own worst enemy on this.
Yes,
all programs have rules and requirements, and if you don't follow them, there's consequences, no matter what the program is. I want it to work for you. I hope that you'll take a look at why these various different placements aren't working, in that it has probably more to do with how you deal with the rules and the regulations more than anything else. So, I want you to get the help, but we need your cooperation in order to do that. Can you cooperate for all of us?
Yes, Your Honor.
It's mostly for you, though. It's for
Yes,
you
Your Honor.
that we want you to cooperate, because we think that this will help you.
Okay.
Okay? So maybe next time, if you're frustrated or upset about something, maybe that's the time you just think back to this moment and take a deep breath before you react to something, and think about how you want to deal with that situation. Do you hear me?
Yes, Your Honor. I definitely
Does that
do.
make sense?
Yes, Your Honor.
So you take a deep breath, like I'm frustrated or I'm upset, and you take a deep breath and you just wait a minute and you think it through instead of acting on it. And you can get better results that way, because we want these treatment programs to work for you, but that's really what it's going to take. So I'm going to continue you on probation and sentence you to 45 days in jail with credit for 7 days served. You may be released on or about May 27th to the KPEP program. You must complete the KPEP program and we'll still have you screened for the mental health court eligibility, and all other terms and conditions of probation will continue to apply. The bench warrant is dismissed. And Mr. Bell, you have the right to file an application for leave to appeal your conviction and your sentence in this matter. You're entitled to an attorney at public expense to assist you in doing that. If you're making a request for one, you have to make it within 42 days of today's date. There isn't by any chance a form sitting on that table by you, is there, that says something about appellate rights? No? Okay.
Table?
Well, no, that's okay. The jail keeps promising me they'll be there and they're not. So we will mail you the form that tells more about your right to appeal. Just be aware that the time period to appeal starts running from today. Okay? Any questions, Mr. Bell?
No questions, Your Honor. I just wanted to say
Okay.
thank you. You have a blessed day.
You're welcome. You too, and good luck with the program at KPEP. And
Yes,
you can
ma'am.
let them know at the jail that you're all set then.
Okay. Thank you, boy.
You're welcome.
Thank you, guys. Have a nice day.